What's going on, y'all? It's Jason Mo Reviews here, back at it again with another video. This time bringing you guys the predictions for Smack Volume 10 going down in Orlando. Good to see the volume series will be returning back to a small room. I know me, along with many of you guys, even though volume 9 was a good event, that clearly wasn't a volume. There was a stage aspect, and they are getting back, to one of the more original venues here, the Orlando venue, to give us that original, I think it was Smack Volume 2 for sure was in there. I believe there might have been a few other volumes in there, but one of the OG Smack Volume 1 through 5 type of settings that really gets back to just, for the most part, staff and battle rap diehards, a small little grouping there, and the focus is really on the two MCs more than anything. And that's what we want from the volume series. So I wanted to start off talking about, I'm very happy that we're getting back to that. We'll be being streamed on Caffeine, as per usual, with the major URL events. And without further ado, let's get right into predicting these battles. So first battle to talk about is the rookies getting a big shot. Flair Soul versus Foots, the two standouts from the URL Final Exams card, going at it to open up the card. Both very talented. Obviously, it's a limited body of work that we can work from, but especially if for a lot of fans who are going to be going just off of their final exam performances, it does make sense. These are the two to pluck out. I did have both winning their battles, and both of them had some of the better comp they were going to have on the card, showed moments of great haymakers, pace, really just polished performances. Now, they did battle in Martinis, and we all know that, Martinis can be more of a safe haven for the younger guys that have obviously, or for the newer guys that have been battling there. But with that being said, I do think that these guys' talent is beyond that. I don't think that they're going to be incapable of performing outside of that. And I expect this to be a very competitive battle. Now, something that I'm hoping it doesn't turn out to is, if you rewind the clock, there was another time that two rookies got a shot against each other, and that was Smack Volume 5, Ace versus Swamp. Now, Foots and Flair Soul haven't showed the memory issues that Ace had showed at the time or anything of that nature, so I don't believe it is going to go in that direction with chokes or be extremely underwhelming, but it is something to look out for because it is two rookies getting, put on a very big card and opening it up at that. Pressure can get to a lot of these guys. I know that people are going to act like, oh, a battle rapper should be above this, above that, but I'm just saying, newer, they've done small room, but they haven't done a Smack volume, but they haven't shown me much of a history of choking. Something I don't have to worry about. And the energy is going to be fantastic. If I do have to, with limited body of works, what I do have to go off of, I will edge Flair Soul. I think it's going to be a debatable battle. They both have great energy, but I think Flair Soul, there is a little bit more uniqueness to his style, where I feel like Foots, I don't believe that Foots at all when I say this is a copy of him, but the Lou Castro archetype kind of fits to what Foots is to an extent, which is a great reason why that battle was great. I think Foots does have, his pace is a little bit different. His storytelling, I think, in Real Talk is a little bit better from what I've seen. So I think that he will, outdo Lou in those categories. But we have seen something of his style. It's a Flair Soul. It's really, I don't know what to expect for the most part. The phone sex, fuck is you hard of hearing bar versus chess is just an example of, I don't know, man. This guy's a creative writer, and I think at their peaks, when they create their best haymakers, Flair Soul does a little bit more. It might not be as performative, but just in terms of the writing, he puts together some stuff that I'm extremely excited to see. Pretty much everything I've seen from him up to this point has been impressive, and I expect both of them to show out, have a net positive performance, but I think Flair Soul gets the better of this battle and edges it 2-1. And from there, we can go into Loso versus T-Top, the next battle on the card. And this one, I don't have as much to say about the other battles, but I do like it. I think Loso, I've said this year, deserves some bigger plates. Obviously, at his tour, so he himself took himself out of the picture for some plates, but I do believe he's ready to run. He was, I believe, almost booked up for K-Shine. I think that's a matchup I'd still love to see Loso get. He's called out names, Young Ill, was the one he threw in there, but just any other top-tier vets. And T-Top is one of those top tiers he's been asking for. Battle just makes sense. You get two of the best anglers in the game. Although T-Top has headed down 2022, probably the worst year of his career, all things considered. His Holmesy performance was a bit of a return to form, albeit a light work battle. And I believe versus Loso with Christianity, there's always things to pluck, a million ways to go about it, and there could definitely be some corny angles. There's a possibility T-Top continues to choose corny angles and chooses the wrong ones. But I do think he's going to be competitive, choose some good, take some good approaches on Loso, and have some decent Loso flips. I think this battle won't be special, not battle of the night radar at all, but I think it'll be solid. Loso's performance is a little bit hindered from his ACL being messed up, but it didn't hamper his performance too much versus Tink. And I just think content-wise, he's on a little bit above T-top right now. So I have Loso 2-1 edge in this battle. And then from there, we move into the top three of this card, which I know is where a lot of the excitement for people is. And starting right off, we have Verb versus Shotgun Shug. This one books itself. We've been knowing this was probably coming up for a while. The second Shug's run took off, and Verb was the guy he honed in on. Verb is very specific about how he chooses his plates. So, the Shug battle comes up after, just a weird year for Verb, in my opinion. And he ends up taking it, and it is blockbuster, and I'm very happy this is going down. I'm happy it's going down to volume as well. Obviously, I think Verb is better in small rooms as of right now, but I think Shug, someone who's just, we think performer, big room. I like Shug a lot in a small room. Shug on the volume series has a pretty good track record at that. Beat Mike P, which, actually beating Mike P, probably a little more impressive when he did it. I know that Mike's collected, his win-loss ratio isn't the craziest, a little bit in the red, but his individual performance in that battle was great. Lost to Romney, mostly due to cleanliness, but his individual performance was pretty good in that battle too. And then even recently versus Stumbles in the down to the wire card, small room, good performance. And as for Verb, you could say similar things. His battle against Pass, I think, was probably his best showing this year, and that was in a smaller room compared to the rest of the plates he's taken. Some people like the material he had versus Chaos. I don't know about that. I think he wasn't direct at all. But I don't believe that direct issue will be an issue with Shotgun Shug. And I also believe when other top-tier matchups come up, and Verb is prone to taking more losses than the regular battler nowadays. We know that. But when the bigger matchups come up, and I feel like he kind of needs to show out, he does. And that's why he's a legend. I believe the DNA battle in Volume 5 was one of those where he showed out. Debatable battle, but a very good Verb performance. Definitely can argue he won. Geechee Gotti battle, another battle. People really counted him out for the most part. Was able to go in there and make that a debatable battle. I'm not the biggest fan of the quality, but a lot of people are, and you could definitely debate Verb won that battle. Even around the time that he battled the Lux, he had just lost to Pat Stay, I believe, right before that, or Mook, right before he battled Mook. He had lost, so, he might take losses in this year. He's got the KCJ battle. He's got the Chaos battle, which to me is, you know what I'm saying? I don't really count for him. I don't know how he won that fan vote. And then he's got battles like Easy. So there has been a collection of losses, but small room, volume setting fits him. I think that he is going to have some cool approaches and be more direct than he usually is. Verb relies on pockets a lot now. That's just who he is as a battler. But as I spoke on, the DNA battle, great approaches. And he's transferred into having some real grown man talk when he wants. I think versus Calico, he flexed that a little, although he lost that battle. And as for Shug, there is praise for Verb in there because I think this is going to be a close battle. I don't have the most clearest victor, but as for Shug, I think the motivation is at 100. He's having one of the better years of his career, deeper in, and it's not like he's having a perfect year. I do think that people are overrating his year just a little bit in terms of how they're perceiving it in Cody and him being a front runner. I wouldn't go that far, but I still think Shug has had a great year. He's definitely going to make that the upper half of that list. And, it's hard to bet against the material he's had right now. Probably been the most direct and the most penned that he's been maybe ever. I mean, I'm really hearing, great haymakers and some of just the more, neatly written, clever stuff Shug has wrote. His real talk is always at 100, and I'm sure he's been calling out Verb for so long. He's had a lot to say to Verb. So I do think Verb's going to be decent. This is the most advantageous setting for him right now. But I think Shug is really a man on a mission. One of the last big plates he's going to really get in battle rap. There's not that many people left for Shug to battle. I think he takes this very seriously, and we see Shotgun Shug in rare form. And that's why I'm picking Shug 2-1 over Verb. And then we get into the top two battles of the card, and a battle that people were very, been looking forward to for a while. Both of these have been looking forward to. The main event, even more so than this battle, but Romney versus Fonz going down. Obviously, the puncher versus puncher aspect of this has been what's booked it. DNA did make a comment about Fonz being the greatest puncher of all time, which we all know is malarkey. But Fonz is the best new prospect puncher without a doubt right now, especially when you look at how he performs against his class for the most part. I think UM1 and even his UM1 type matchups after, such as his battle with Real Sick, which was an amazing battle, by the way. Fonz really flexes his punches at his best. But the problem here is I think that Fonz has had a hard time with competing versus top tiers. I'm very open that to become top tier, the number one biggest thing for me is your performance rate against top tiers. That's making it. Now, you're not going to win every battle. Obviously not, but in a sport where debatables are a thing, I need to see some debatables. I need to see high quality material and performances, and then eventually I would like to see a win, maybe 2 wins. That's how a lot of these guys climb the ladder. I know Easy to Block Captain is an extremely extreme example. I could pull ones that aren't as extreme, but as his fellow class member, the reason Easy is over a lot of guys, he's getting clear wins. That's what's separating him from the pack, and in my opinion, making him the most dangerous battler in the world. And I think Fonz has incredible ability. He beat Easy. You know what I'm saying? He's beat other great guys in his class. Jay the Nightwing, even though he's down right now, was an amazing prospect, one of the best. So I know Fonz, material-wise, can hang up there with amazing talents, but something about jumping in front of top tiers, his track record at this point, in terms of 3-round top-tier battles, Av, JC, and Danny Myers, all also of that like pen prototyping punching lane that Romney's in. And he did not win any of these battles. He was good versus Ab, probably the best out of all of them, but I had him pretty clearly losing the first and third. The numbers support that as well. And as for JC, overdid the crackhead angle, and Angle never really went over that well. And I think angle punching is his strength. To see him have a dip there with approach is a little, there was a little worrisome, but it was early on. So JC had him losing that gentleman, to be honest with you. And then versus Danny, as we all just saw in SM, I think that was the one that was really going to prove it to people. Another puncher, just straight up, I'm not going to say a copy in a way, because Danny and Nitty are obviously different, but that was a big opportunity, and I had him pretty clearly losing the second and the third of that battle. He's also had memory issues all through this, and then even recently in a one-rounder versus B Magic, another punching prototype, I had Magic getting the better of him. So when you take all that into account, just speaking on Fonz's side, I have question marks. And now he's going up against Nitty in a volume, and Nitty's having an amazing year right now. I know that, the names, his strength of schedule is solid, but I know that he's not having any of the God tier looks I think people are ready for. By the way, Nitty versus Mook, that's a battle that I want to see anytime Nitty versus a God tier. But Nitty versus Mook, the revenge for Geechee, all that, so many things. Really hope we get that battle booked in 2023. But Nitty versus Bill Collector, A-Ward, Danny Myers, all top comp guys who had great years. Nitty has been amazing. You know what I'm saying? You guys haven't gotten to see the Bill battle, which I was able to cover, but I had him pretty clearly winning that. But take away the wins and the losses for a second, just his individual material. He's rapping, he's still in that argument for best battle rapper alive because he just consistently brings this material. He's been having a month plus prep, which he normally hasn't had in his career for all these battles, and you're getting Nitty in rare form every time. We're talking about Nitty in the volume where he is, known to be one of the best at, if not the best. Fonz, who hasn't gotten a top tier win yet. I just don't see that win coming here. I don't predict bodies, so I'm not going to predict that. I'm going to predict a gentleman's 30 because I think Fonz is motivated, but I'm worried about Fonz going into this one. And that leaves us with the main event of the night, Charlie Clips versus Calico. And this match, if Nitty and Fonz have been one in the making, what do you say about Clips and Cal? 6 years of these guys calling each other out. In my opinion, 2 of the top 5 battle rappers to ever be a part of this sport. Ultra talented, really for different reasons, some similar reasons, some different reasons, but 2 guys who are also extremely hard to beat clear. And 2 guys that normally don't get small room opportunities like this. I believe this is Calico's first volume, and this will be Clips' third. It's really his second, volume 9. You know what I'm saying? But there's just backstory naturally from these guys talking shit. I don't know if there's too much personal stuff. I know Calico said all the gloves are coming off, something of that nature. So maybe there is going to be, I do expect some type of personal angle to be taken, but I don't know them to have any crazy history. So for me, this comes down to just skill versus skill. You look at Calico, one of the best pure rappers, maybe just has the best strict just rapping ability in battle rap, plus one of the best, if not the best, real talk battlers of all time. You look on the other side as Clips, you got a better chance of, I don't even know what the fuck, than trying to put Clips in the category of battle rap. I can't just say this man's a performer or he's just a pen or just an angler. We all know that Clips is either good to all-time great at multiple different categories of battle rap. And funny enough, both of them have great crowd control, impeccable all-time great crowd control, but with no crowd, you take that away, and it does put more focus on what the real talk, how they're going to execute their approaches, the fluidity to their rapping. They're both going to be extremely motivated, and when you get 2 guys that are this good, that are going to be this motivated for the match, I think this has classic potential written on it. It's my battle of the night pick. Just all the different things that could happen. The counter writing, both of them as strategists are two of the best as well. I mean, when the skill is just this high, I just expect so much from the battle. So in terms of the quality of the battle, I'm not worried about that, and I also expect it to be very debatable. So whichever pick I make here, it is going to be my pick to make. We make picks on this channel. We don't call ties or any of that shit, but I will say this one will be so debatable, it will not shock me if it comes down to preference or like a split 50-50 decision. But I will have to say, Charlie Clips motivated like this, I just can't go against Clips, and I love Calico. Obviously, like I said, it's picking one almost makes it seem like I'm disrespecting the other, but this battle is going to be so good. But if I had to edge, I just think Clips is a little more well-rounded. Calico is extremely well-rounded, but we are talking about Clips, so says more about Clips than it does about Cal when I make that statement. And overall, I've seen him in the volumes go against one of the best rounds I've really ever seen in battle rap with his first versus Twerk. And Twerk's second was really good that battle, so for him to diffuse that versus a guy that's very, very potent in the volumes, especially when he comes prepared like he did that day, well, for the most part prepared. I've just seen those feats of strength. On a stage, it might change. It's one of those things where I'm going to talk myself in a circle trying to, really describe in logic. It really comes up to faith, and I just think Clips has a little bit more and a little bit more on the comedy side, has the ability to land the same level of haymakers and personals. So for those reasons and just, faith in the peak of Charlie Clips, I will edge Charlie Clips this battle 2-1 in my easy battle of the night pick. And with that being said, guys, that is my full Volume 10 predictions. Just to run it down, Flair Soul 2-1 edge over Foots in a competitive battle. Loso 2-1 edge over T-Top, also in a competitive battle. Shotgun Shug 2-1. I got it edge, but it might be Shug 2-1 clear over Verb. I don't know, somewhere 2-1 comfy Shotgun Shug over Verb. I have Romney 3-0 over Fonz. The severity of that 3-0 will depend on, on Fonz, but I do, feel confidently that Romney will win that battle clear. And then as for Cal and Clips, battle of the night pick, Clips 2-1 edge, really just picking names out of a hat in a very, very great battle for both of them. Like the Volume 10 card on paper, Kid Chaos and DNA, I thought, would have rounded out the card nice. That's been pushed to Volume 11. Can't wait to see what they got going on over there. That'll be a good battle. A little upset it didn't make that card, but wanted to give it a mention. And overall, just a dope card all the way around. I'm definitely looking forward to all the results from this as we get to the end. The Cody implications get bigger and bigger. More people are going to talk more. The convos are going to get bigger. People make their full cases after they know they've wrapped up the year. And with all that coming around, it's just the best time of the year for battle rap, and I can't wait to, watch and cover the event for you guys. Civil War 3 predictions will be coming out next, and then I will have some special content related to the Volume series. So it's been J Smo Reviews again, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know down below in the comments, what is your battle of the night pick? What are you, or which performance are you looking forward to most on the Volume 10 card? To you, what pops out and grabs your attention? I'd love to know and discuss with you guys down below, or at my Twitter. Get at me in the description. My Twitter's in the description. Talking battle rap all the time on there. Tweet anything at me. DM me. Feel free. I know that a lot of us don't get to talk battle rap with the people in our area. Man, I'll talk battle rap with anyone, even though I don't know y'all, man. So hit me up. Let me know. And give me your opinions on the Volume 10 event. But more content coming on the way. It's been J Smo Reviews again, y'all. And I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Peace.